a funny story about that actually. Junie Bruce, who's our sponsor, he owns the club, Three Cheers Pub. So we went down there and celebrated and ordered some pizzas and all that stuff like you do.
Right.
So he called me today. I was at work today. I see Junie Bruce ringing in. I said, "Colin, I got to take this." So Junie goes, "Jason," he goes, "just a couple things." He said, he goes, "First thing." He said, "I'm down here looking around." He goes, "Where's the trophy?" And I said, "That's a good question." I said, "I don't know. I'll have to fire out a message to the boys anyway." Old Dougie Marshall had her.
Oh,
They
that's
last
in the
going off.
shed.
They had it. Well, they took it wherever they went. Right. I left a little early, and they took it to I don't know where they went, Greensleeves or Kelly. I don't know. They took the trophy everywhere anyway. And then he goes, he said, "That's all good." And he said, second thing, he goes, 46 buckets there on the tab. He
Holy shit.
said.
Get up! Get up! Get out of here! I told you, Mr. Drama.
I used to be a ladies' man, but I'm unhappy now. For courting 6 girls all at once, they
Say
used me.
bye-bye baseball!
My mother said it was naughty, I should take some years back. But I said if it's naughty, sure it's also very fine.
And the Wally drops his glove, grabs Dalton. The benches are clearing.
Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly is brought to you by CoolBet. If you got a few extra bucks rattling around in your arse pocket, CoolBet Sportsbook will double your first deposit up to $200 when you use the bonus code DUSTUP. Head over to coolbet.com and get in on the fastest growing entertainment sector in the world. That bonus code again is DUSTUP, one word, all capital letters, DUSTUP. Welcome back, folks. Episode 27 of Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. But Hilly, this is actually Dust Up with Hilly, Lolly, and Shailesy tonight. We got our good buddy Nick Shailes coming back joining us. He's here in the intro. Can't wait to get going with him.
What's up, Shieldsy brother?
Not too much, mate. Only fitting for number 27 for your boy to come back on. So looking forward to tonight.
Oh, there you go.
Absolutely. We've been talking about doing something like this format for a while, Hilly, and we wanted to do it with Shailesy, and the timing couldn't be better. We get to unpack a busy summer season. Look forward to you guys getting to go down and get the WBSC and a ton of other things that we want to go through. So what do you say, Shailesy? Let's get into it.
Might as well, mate. Let's go.
Here we go. All right, boys. We got another season behind us, Hilly. I know you just wrapped up down in Newfoundland. Congrats on another big win for the team down there. Walk us through the championship round and pretty well just recap the season overall down in St. John's.
Yeah, I mean, I played for Three Cheers Bud Light, myself and Walchi, Kyle Ezekiel, Dougie Marshall, Danny Dalton, these guys. As you know, we got a pretty decent league. It's competitive when everybody's there. But yeah, we got into the playoffs. We finished first place in regular season. We played the Canada Games team, junior team, the first round, and to be honest with you, we were lucky to get by them.
Oh, wow.
And that's like Shales. He was like Jordan Pomeroy, Mark Stack, Ryan Marr.
Bunch of young guys coming up, right?
Yeah, Liam Shea, those guys, a bunch of U23 Team Canada guys are real good.
Bunch of good young kids coming up out there.
Yes, sir. Yep. And they had us on the ropes. It was a best of 5, and we were down 2-1. we came back. We rattled off a couple wins and a couple close games. So, we got by those guys, and then we got the treat of facing Clary in the final.
Yeah. Well, that's a treat, too.
Yeah. So we got
fun.
into a real battle. Now, those guys were missing a few. Blair wasn't there. I don't know if Blair's back coaching down south or in Wisconsin, or I'm not really sure.
I think he was at a Green Bay game there the other day I saw, so he must be down there doing something.
Yeah, maybe he's on a trip or back coaching, whatever. But
he's a big
but
hole, though. When you're playing in that league, in the
Yeah.
championship series, that you need all your guys going at that.
Yeah, that's
stage, right?
that's a lot of offense you gotta replace. And but anyway, I mean they got Clary, right? Clary's the wild card. So, but Walchi was lights out all series. We ended up beating them 4-1. We took the championship on Sunday in a 1-0 ball game. So it was I think it was late. It was like 5th inning, and Danny Dalton hit a double. Actually hit a single, turned it into a double, took second. Phil Corbett moved him on a fielder's choice, and he scored on a pass ball. That was it. 1-0.
Now, Shailes, do you think either beer was had after that? Now, according to a picture that we won't talk about that got sent to our group chat, it seems like there was a couple of beer had after that.
I'd say there might have been 1 or 2 had.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about that, actually. Junie Bruce, who's our sponsor, he owns the club, Three Cheers Pub. So we went down there and celebrated and ordered some pizzas and all that stuff like you do. So he called me today. I was at work today. I see Junie Bruce ringing in. I said, Colin, I got to take this. So Junie goes, Jason, he goes, just a couple things. He said, he goes, first thing, he said, I'm down here looking around. He goes, where's the trophy? And I said, that's a good question. I said, I don't know. I'll have to fire out a message to the boys. Anyway, old Dougie Marshall had her. They last going off. And they had it. Well, they took it wherever they went, right? I left a little early, and they took it to, I don't know where they went, Greensleeves or Kelly. I don't know. They took the trophy everywhere anyway. And then he goes, he said, that's all good. And he said, second thing, he goes, 46 buckets there on the tab. He said,
Holy shit.
That'll do it.
Right? He said, 46 buckets, $5 a beer. He said, I'm no mathematician, but that's punching in on $1,000. He said, I said, yeah. I said, a couple of 50-50 spins next year now. We'll take care of that.
Yeah. That's weird. That is,
yeah.
That's awesome. But speaking of the beer, I was thinking about this coming on. Two of you, by far, are the two guys that I drank the most beer with in my life, I think. Come on. If we're looking back now, well, Hilly, we go back to 16 years old, and Shailes, thank God we don't go back that far. But it's been the last 12 or 13 years on the road, pretty well all year round, whether it's over FaceTime or Shailes, you and I get together. But I don't know what the over-under is if you calculated all of them up that we had together, either in a hotel room, on the road, doing whatever. But you can't put a number on it, Hilly.
It'd be way too many. I honestly couldn't put a number on it. Wouldn't want to be honest.
No.
I'm not saying something that we're overly proud of. It's just a fact.
No, but yeah, it is what it is. Valid statements. Facts.
That's how you build relationships on the road, or one of the ways you build relationships on the road. And here we are, 12 years after we started with a ton of memories. And I want to look back on this season. It was pretty interesting ISC season, back past the COVID year. Shailes, you're back full-fledged, right? And it was kicking off.
Long summer.
Yeah, it was a long summer. I think we had, 10 weekends, boys? And kicked off with the Hill United tournament. Shailes, so where were you coming into the season? Know how hard you were training, but knowing it was kicking off with the Hill United tournament, you're getting back on the ball field with the season in front of you, while also preparing for playing with your national team. It's pretty well no time off this year. Where was your head at going into the season this year?
Man, I was looking forward to getting back out there, just catching up with everybody, and especially playing with the boys again. That was tough to watch there last year. But no, it was. I think for me, it was more of a challenge to sort of prove that I still had it. A few more whites and greys in the beard, and it was just good to see that us older guys could still swing it and still play some pretty decent defense when we have to. And we'll leave Hilly there with his gloves sitting beside him on the bench. So
he does, but he hits the really good fly balls in the pregame. He's out there. You take that job seriously, don't you, Hilly?
How quickly we forget. How quickly we forget.
All right. Yes, you're on third base last year.
Don't worry, I didn't forget.
Anyway, he was happy, Shailes, happy to be back in, sitting next to his dad in the dugout.
I'll have you know, I patrolled center field all weekend, too, in the finals.
Were you picking up the empty beer cans out over the fence? Still can't see you patrolling out. Well done, Hilly. I tell you what.
Right?
Continue to surprise me, my friend. I love it.
Always.
Well, yeah, Shailes, you came back, man, and you never missed a beat. I think the first game or the second game we played, you hit 2 home runs. And we were all waiting. What's he going to be like? Is he going to be nervous? Is he going to struggle and then have to get a stride? Shailes, he likes to peak in the big tournaments. Nope. Bang. Right out the fucking gate.
Well, I had to feel it out. After January was tough, coming back in after 2 years off and trying to figure out where you fit back into the team and whether you still got your starting spot or what's going on. But No, it was good. Went back in January, and everyone was
Cold.
on board. And
It was
that?
fucking
Cold?
everyone was fuck 2 degrees, man.
Freezing down there. And the day we left, it ended up being like 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid weather. But no, it was unreal. Getting back to playing with these boys again, it's always fun.
That was fun. Yeah, we had a fun night in Florida there last going after the party we had at the golf club.
Yeah,
We've
was
had a few nights like that.
a lot of fun. We got to celebrate previous year's victory at the ISCs, and then kind of getting that mindset again, get everybody together, which was awesome. And then we go out, and it was a battle right from the get-go this season. We knew we were going to be in tough, right? You always got to look out for the Gremlins, but the Bear Creek team came on. We were talking to Scope about that on our last episode. A team we haven't even played yet, right there on your radar. Then you got the Twins, J&B. It was, Hilly and I were talking earlier, it was probably the toughest top 5, top 10 that we've had in a lot of years. It wasn't a 1, 2, 3 horse race. And the early tournaments of the year proved that. I think the top 5 ranked teams each had won a tournament in the first 4 tournaments. Everybody had beaten and lost a game against the other top teams. So we really noticed that after the Tavistock tournament. We had everybody around and said, this ASA and ISC is going to be a battle.
It was going to be a coin flip. Like every team had that opportunity to upset the next one. So there was a good 7 or 8 teams there this year that had the pitching to hold most teams down and had the hitting to back it up. So that's the most parity I've seen in the World Tournament in a lot of years.
Yeah, it was good to see too, especially going on those weekend tournaments. Like, and instead of your first game or second game, depending on how it's scheduled, like your 10-0, 12-0 games. Now there were still a few of those. They were few and far between. Like you're getting in playing the Batman first game, or you're playing Bear Creek first game. It's a 2-1, 4-3 ball game. Like that's what, for me, that's way better. Like, that competition. And if you're building towards something, which is the ASA and the ISC, those are the games you want to be playing. Right?
Oh, hell yeah. Well, Batman touched us up there in the first tournament. We came out
Simcoe.
flat and boom, 7-0. It's like, hold up, what the just happened?
Bet the bejesus out of it.
Yeah, they did.
Right?
Yeah. And it was that was really the eye opener, right? Because I didn't even mention the Toronto Batman in that. They had a banner season for them too, right? It was
well, remember this in Simcoe, our 3rd round robin game was against Bear Creek.
Yes.
And guess what? The loser is out. Don't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Because remember we were doing the math, right? Because we were sat in the beer tent, 3 of us having a beer. And
we're good at math. We're good at math.
But you know what it's like when anyone listening to this who's a ball player knows schedule math, right? You're doing bracket math. All right, if this team beats that team, that equals this. If we win this and that. And then we're all going to say, no, we'll play Bear Creek in the morning, or we'll play the winner of this or the Stompers, whoever. And sure enough, the way the math ended up, because there was an upset on the other diamond that all the rest of the Sunday bracket was dependent on. And sure enough, we're playing in the first tournament of the year, the Hill United tournament, against Bear Creek, who we haven't played, and there's touted team. We know all them. And if we lose our first real big game of the year, we're out of our own tournament.
We're not playing on Sunday.
And then we're not playing on Sunday. So anyway, we got through them luckily, but it was a grind all summer. But we battled through it, and we find ourselves back in familiar territory come the winners bracket final game at the ASA. Right, we go up against. I know I'm fast forwarding here, but guess what? We can't go through every freaking tournament, every game. So. No. We grind through the season. Everyone's coming back together. That's the great thing about our Chiefs team is when you get everybody around, we're gelling. The familiarity is there and all that. And then we're in that winners bracket final against the Gremlins, and that was an unbelievable ball game. What was it? 4 hours? Hilly, you got the memory. I don't know, Shailes, what your memory is like compared to Hilly's, but he remembers everything. About
it was almost 4 hours because I remember Bear Creek were on the other field, and they were almost done their second game by the time our game finished.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It was nuts. And that was back and forth. Each team had an opportunity to kind of put the nail in the coffin and get two runners in scoring position. A base hit gives you that. And this is an extra innings or bottom of the seventh. And there must have been 2 or 3 opportunities apiece. And a couple of nice plays, never came through with a hit, whatever you have. And then it was, how many innings did it go? 10 or 12?
10, I think it was.
At least 10. I think it was 11.
11 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And we talk about it briefly, Hilly, last episode with Scove, about the emotional defeat when you come to losing that ball game, right? And they came out on top.
Yeah.
We say even if it's a 7-0 win, right? You win that, you're pretty well, odds are in your favor. 80% at least, I would say, that you're going to come away with the championship going straight to the final with double life. But we got off the ball field. It was after midnight. And 4 hours in, emotionally defeated, physically drained, knowing that we got to come back in 6.5 hours and play JB just to get a chance to go play the Gremlins again and try and beat them twice. So it just goes to show the toll. But we got back to that position, came back the next day. And anyway, the Gremlins went on and won their, I don't know how many ASAs they've won in the last number of years, but they are a pretty tough ball team to play against.
They've won at least 6 or 7.
We had a battle that morning against JB too. Did that not go extra innings?
That did.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was another 9-inning game, I think.
It was 4,000 degrees. we were going on 4 hours sleep, and I think we were winning that we were leading for most of the game. That's when the young Villavazo hit a home run, couple of home runs. I think he did. Yeah.
He was on fire this year, man.
Kind of did us in, but so I mean, that was a grind. You too, even that game, even though we came up short, but then had to go play the Gremlins again twice. I mean, Jesus. Christ.
Yeah, it's a tough road, but man, you got to. Yeah, we've been in that position well. Yeah, right.
I've been in that tournament and twice. I've been in that tournament twice and lost the very first game of the tournament.
Yeah.
And the first time was the farm against Broken Bow. They beat us 2-1 in the very first game of the ASAs. And we came back, went right to the final and lost.
Beat us in 2.
Lost to the Patsies. No, the year after that, or 2009, we played you guys with the New York Gremlins, and you guys beat us. A very close game, first game of the tournament, 2-0, 2-1, or whatever it was. Yeah. And we went right to the finals, and then we bet you twice. You guys didn't have enough. Yeah.
No, it's a cool tournament, man. You hear it on the circuit. Like, that structure. When you don't have double life, everybody hates it. When you got it, you're like, right on. Probably got another ring. It's great.
Exactly.
It all depends on where you are in the standings at that tournament. And anyway, we turned it around and went into the ISC season. I don't really want it, or the ISC World Tournament. We came up short. We didn't end the way we wanted to. And that was a tough way to finish it. We don't need to, I don't want to go into all the details other than tip the cap to all the teams basically that we went up against. And then you're looking at that parity that we were just talking about. It was the most different looking championship weekend in terms of the teams playing and the matchups that we've seen in a bit. Seeing the Twins coming back and doing what they did, the Gremlins, doing what they did. They find a way to get it done when all the chips are on the table too. And that was, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the championship game or not. That Mata man he's the real deal.
Mata man.
The kid can throw. I hated facing his brother back in the day. His brother was an absolute menace on the mound, but
he was good. He was, man. Lukey in his prime was one of the. I mean, he had to be top.
He was tough to face, man. He could break the ball both ways. It was, you thought you had it all sorted out, and then all of a sudden, drop balls breaking off the plate on the outside, and then he saws you off on the inside with a dipper that breaks back into you. And it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Yeah. But no. Mimu's the same way, man. He builds to the ISC. He always says that probably not going to win the first couple of games during the season, but he'll be there at the end. So he's got a good outlook on the game, and he's basing his game around August, which is pretty smart.
Well, I mean, Jesus, he certainly proved his point.
Oh yeah,
2 or 3 years, eh, bye.
Yeah, well, in that game though, we know how tough the Gremlins hitting lineup is, and they got a lot of experience on that team that they can draw on to.
Yeah,
and they got bases loaded, I think, a couple of times in the championship game, and he came back. I believe one of them there was no outs. He came back with 2 strikeouts and a ground ball back to him, and it was unreal. You know, that guy. Hats off to Mimu Mata and the Hallman twins. Great showing. It was great to see Jim Hallman, you know, long-time sponsor in the game. We know that he's been searching for that one again, and you know, great to see him get that. But it was a great season. But Marshall Crunk, Shalesy, yeah, he comes out, wins the MVP. I think you know him a bit better than we do. What can you say about that guy?
Oh, Marshall's a great guy, mate. One of the best teammates you could have. He's just straightforward. He'll let you know exactly how it is, and he's going to go out and give you everything he's got. Guy pitches, plays first, hits the crap out of the ball. And man, I'm so happy because he wasn't even going to trial for our national team.
No. Well,
as you know, our national team has a levy. You got to pay to play for your country. So a few years ago, like a lot of the guys that aren't that well off just end up retiring early and just say, no, I don't have that sort of money to put forward just for me to go and play. And good thing about this year was Marshall really stepped up and played really, really well, and sort of came back to us and said, hey, is there any chance I can try and be on the national team again? We're just like, that'd be great if you want to show up.
We'll take you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What number do you want?
Marshall's an awesome guy. If you get a chance, definitely sit down and have a beer with him because he's a great dude.
I was laughing when you said he pitches because I remember where were we? In Kitchener, and he come and pitch against us, and I'm batting, and fucking Sales. Now it went 4 feet over my head, mind you, but it was a bullet. I said, "What the fuck is going on here? Why's this guy start pitching?"
He's not a small man to look at it on the mound either. So.
No, sir. No. But he's such a good dude. Like he's always, you know, he's very emotionless, like a very cool, calm, collected all the time. See, like he, likes to have a joke, likes to have a beer.
Oh yeah, no, he's one of the boys. For sure.
He can hit. Jeez, he can hit.
Oh yeah, flat out.
Yeah, it was wicked. So hell of a job, Marshall. I don't know if you listen to this or not, but someone will tell you that knows you that listens. It was awesome. Couldn't happen to a better guy, man. He's one of the good guys out there. But then Shalesy, you got to go to Newfoundland again, buddy, for the Nationals. We know just from being with you all summer how much you were looking forward to that. What was that like getting down to Newfoundland again?
Man, love Newfoundland. It's like a second home for me. Everyone's unreal. It was a lot better than the first Nationals I spent there. Let's put it that way. The crowd was a little bit more on my side this time, which was good. But no, it was unreal catching up with a bunch of people and just talking ball in the beer tent. The amount of people that just want to talk about ball and what's been happening the last couple of years, and it's unreal to see out there. The support was unreal, and George Street hasn't changed a bit, other than the lineups are getting a lot younger. But no, still plenty of cold beer to be had out there, and I definitely enjoyed my time.
I bet you I talked to people down there that I haven't seen in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we were talking, just running into them after a game or whatever in the beer tent, and just like just like you were at their house last week, type thing. They haven't missed a beat, right?
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Oh, and it was good. And for our listeners, when I go back to Newfoundland, especially if it's ball related, I stay at Hilly's house, right? So he had the room down ready for me and Jane. Teddy was out with mom and dad and staying with my sisters and all that. So we're getting back into old routine. But as soon as we get down there, Shalesy flies in that, I don't know, whatever day you got in, Thursday. And you guys had the Avalon Wave game.
That was Tuesday before Nationals. Yeah.
Yeah. So Shailes got in that day, and so we said we're going to go down and watch this. Just tell our listeners a little bit about that event from your perspective, Hilly, how it all came together, and for anyone that was there, or if you see any of the pictures, it was an awesome turnout. The amount of kids that were there, and then the regular crew out by the chalet with the cold beers. That's where me and Shailesy were. And,
Yep.
That was fun too. But yeah, how did all that come together, and what your thoughts on it?
I believe it was how it initially started was, well, as everybody knows now, that the under 23 team made the trip to Newfoundland. So I think there was a team, I'm not sure who, maybe Prince George. I don't know. I think there was a team that was supposed to play senior men's that ended up pulling out fairly late, but not late enough that they couldn't make arrangements. And Dougie said anyway that they were going to put the under 23 team in. They played in, well, no, you were in our division, Shailesy. They played in the other division, but they didn't qualify for the playoffs. But anyway, it came down, he wanted to see some guys, and a lot of his players on the under 23 team were playing with senior teams, but of course they have their own pool, their own athlete pool, and they wanted to see some guys and play a couple exhibition games anyway. So I think that's originally how it started on the Softball Canada side. And they played who'd they play? BC, Souk.
Yes.
The first game down there, and then they ended up partnering with Ryan Boland and the Avalon Wave. So Boley had, I don't know how many kids were down there, and like there was, and not just from the Wave, there was kids from the Brian Roach's Outer Cove crowd, and teams from all over. There was a bunch of jerseys there anyway, and kids were screaming and having a good time, selling 50-50 tickets, doing this, doing that. So there ended up being a nice little crowd down there, actually, for a couple.
Shailesy talking about it being a second home. Shailesy walking around, we were going in, and everyone's coming up. He's there signing shirts, signing autographs, all this, and he's introducing me as his friend. He's like, "Oh, this is my friend Steve Mullally." Well, fuck, I grew up playing on this ball field, Shailesy. You're second in line here, bud.
Yeah, right.
It was wicked, man. Hilly gets in, hits one off the bubble in front of the old hometown crowd too.
Not a big deal.
Yeah. Again, for anyone who doesn't know, Lions Park is one of the best softball venues, I'd argue, in the world. Just it has a humongous 100-foot backstop that wraps around the sides, and then out over left field there's a chalet where people drink beer, and it's kind of a target for righties.
The righties.
And then there's a huge indoor tennis facility that we call the bubble. And that's Hilly's target practice, hitting one off the bubble. Yeah. And you got to do it in a Team Canada jersey in front of all the kids and all the people that came out to support you. So that had to be a pretty cool way to kick off your week heading into the Nationals.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. A lot of friends and family, obviously. My little cousin was there. She was one of the kids with the Outer Cove program with her jersey on, and it was a great experience, man. Especially day before Nationals to kind of get a little bit of hype going and get some more interest going for the fan base starting that Wednesday.
Oh yeah, no, that one was unreal.
Yeah, that was great to have that exhibition, get the fan base, the players, everybody excited about a great week of ball to come. So, and then let's get right into the Nationals. It's something that we were looking forward for a long time. Hilly with that being bumped off because of the pandemic and all that, and you knew the buzz. You also knew the previous disappointment of not getting it. So it was a relief to finally get on the ball field and start playing that.
Yeah, it was nice for it to finally come to fruition, right? The 2-3 years, and kept getting bumped, and we were starting to think, is this thing ever going to happen here, or are they going to continue to go after the host? Are they going to still want to host after all this? And anytime we have a Nationals in Newfoundland, it's special to us. But this one, was certainly extra special for many of us. And Shailesy, you might even be in this boat too. I said it's our home, it's your second home, but it's probably going to be the last Nationals that we ever play. It's certainly the last Nationals that one of us is going to play at home. But for a lot of us on that Galway roster, it's the last chance, that we're going to get to try to defend our title at home and or win a title at home. And it was it was a bit of a different feeling going down there, as opposed to what it was in 2016, right? From your standpoint, from the like, how was things with the Stompers and Stomper side?
The Stompers, that's a great organization, man. It's Brian Porter runs that from one of my business partners, which is awesome. But no, playing in Newfoundland is it's definitely one of the highlights of my career, and playing nationals out there and seeing all you guys actually playing at home is unreal for me, and knowing the excitement around this year and everything that was going down this year was really, really an awesome time out there, yet still just unreal to witness and unreal to be a part of.
Yeah, there was certainly a buzz. Like I know, like, and with the COVID stuff too, like I know there's some facilities that are being talked about being built and being constructed and stuff in the coming years. And I think COVID kind of put the shag to all that and kind of delayed it for a couple of years and this and that. And then, so we ended up back down to Caribou, which was fine. There's a lot of history down to the Caribou. It's not the ideal, in my opinion, place to host a national, like with especially weather-wise and stuff like that. But anyway, there we were. We still drew decent crowds. I'm not sure, Lolly, they were the crowds that we had in 07, but they were certainly a lot better than what they were in 16.
Yeah, like throughout the week in 07, man, we got the weather. It was the first one in a long time. There was a lot of buzz. It was packed every game. The beer tent, this Nationals it was positioned in the left field rather than taking up the entire outfield. That also visually kind of takes away from the panoramic fan base just completely engulfing the ball field. But there wasn't a seat in the bleachers available. And then when we came to the big games, you could tell each day, each big game, it was that many more fans around, and we had an awesome weather weekend. And it was, well, obviously it was a very, very special week for sure.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you mentioned the beer tent. I think there was some external, I don't know, I'll call them factors or decisions that were made that were outside the control of the hosting committee, that certain things had to go a certain way, which, it was unfortunate, but it was what it was. But we did get the weather, which certainly helped the beer sales, as opposed to 16. It was too cold to enjoy a beer, really, after a ball game. But yeah, we had what I thought was pretty cool too. And Shailes, I don't know if you played. Well, you were there for one of these, but I don't know if you played any games where they did a ceremony, I guess, kind of like a ceremonial first pitch type thing. I know one day we had one of our games, Lolly, we had a Ukrainian family who just moved to Newfoundland. One day we had Liam Hickey, the double Paralympian, basketball.
That was cool, man.
Basketball, hockey. And then, of course, we had the one surprise celebration. Shailesy was a part of this, and Lolly didn't really know much about it.
And I had no idea about it either.
No, and
just before.
And full credit to Mark Dwyer on this, because it was his brainchild. But he set up a little ceremony and a little do for Malali in front of a full house there.
Yes, man. I was literally fighting my way through the crowd to get a front row seat at the fence. And here's your coach going, "Hey, get through here. Come on, get out of here."
Yeah, that was.
And then I ended up with you boys, but to have that sort of celebration must have been pretty special feeling.
Yeah, it no doubt it was, man. I didn't know what was happening, and any of our listeners may not know at this point. I announced to people close to me, teammates on the Chiefs and everything. You guys knew before, for anyone, that this was going to be my last year playing ball, and I've been spending a lot of time thinking about it. Like, knew the end was coming, but how are you going to go out? I don't want to go out injured. I don't want to fizzle out or what. And then having the opportunity to go back and defend the ISC title from the year before, still playing with my best friends on the Chiefs, and knowing that had the opportunity to cap it off at home, that was pretty special. And I knew when we got there, Mark Dwyer knew that was my intention, was this was going to be my last tournament. And he announced it to our team right before the tournament started. I wasn't sure if we were going to wait till the end, see how it played out, and then do it. But he got our team together right at the beginning of the tournament, made a really nice talk in the huddle, and let the guys know, and that made it real.
Yeah, Mark Dwyer reached out to me, and he's like, Hilly, got Wayne Lolly's retiring. Is it true? Oh, yeah, it's true. All this stuff. Yeah, well, here's what we're going to do. And so this is when he started planning this thing. He said, your job is to get me a bunch of pictures of Stephen Lolly. They made a montage for him, and a nice little display, and all kinds of pictures of Steve throughout his career. So I'm going through his Facebook and my Facebook, and I'm like, okay, can't use that one. Can't use that one. I was like, really want to use that one, but I can't use that one, and all this stuff. We found it was a nice little trip down memory lane, and got a nice, I don't know how many of them he actually used, and I'm sure he probably reached out to a few other guys too, but yeah. So I sent him a folder of pictures of you, and he did the same thing. So he's like, okay, here's how it's going to go down, and there's going to be an MC, and make sure Finton and Yvonne and Aaron and Vicky are there, and which they all were, and of course Jane and Teddy, and then I put it on Jane to get whatever jersey. You had to wait to see what jersey we were wearing that day, because I had to sneak the other one out of the house. But I just told you I was going to do laundry, because I don't know if you had any interest in doing any laundry. Didn't care about it anyway.
You got that covered, my friend.
So anyway, I got that in the old bag, and then we got you out on the field, and then it was like you had this. When did you start to put it all together at this? Okay, this ceremony is for me. Like,
it was fucking nuts, I'll tell you. Because they announced over the loudspeaker that come down, there's going to be some sort of a special presentation. I thought it was going to be another Newfoundland athlete or someone. They were making a theme of the first pitches that were coming out, so I didn't really clue in on that. But I went behind home plate because Teddy was running around, so this is behind the bleachers. And anyway, my dad's sitting there, and I can see people walking out on the field, and Dad kind of let it slip a little bit. And he said, are we all going out on the field, or is it just you? And as he's saying that, there's a jersey and a plaque walking behind me. And I'm like, what? Oh, what is going on? And I had no idea. I was floored, and my jersey's going out. And then I look over, Hilly got the big smirk on his face. And then my whole family walks out onto the field. There's a pedestal there or whatever it is with my jersey hanging on, and that montage picture, Jason and John, Mom and Dad, Shalesy, Teddy, Jane, all of our teammates lining off on the side, and John Stewart's there. I was like, you're holding back. You're fighting it at that point, and then you got to go out and stand on first base. And man, it's a tribute and an honor that I couldn't have dreamt it up, man. Like, I still think I'm kind of in a dream. Someone's going to wake me up. And then they announced that they're retiring my number within Newfoundland, and that Newfoundland athlete going to a senior or nationals represent Newfoundland will wear number 33 again. Mm-hmm. And then from there on out, I don't really remember. Thank God there's videos. And then they asked me to come up and speak. And yeah, but what was really special about that, aside from the honor itself, was the people I care about the most in the world are out there, right? And I didn't know that this was happening, obviously, and Bradley was there. I know he was there, but Bradley, for me, is a guy that deserves to be out there as well.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It was, man, it was emotional, but it was pretty cool at the same time. I'm really glad they did it before that game and not before another one. And yeah, it was unreal. And then, I couldn't believe it. And then you got to turn around and try and play ball, because you don't want to lose after something like that. And was able to kind of quickly transition back to playing ball. Thank God we had a big game that could take the focus off it. But yeah, I can't thank everybody that was involved in that enough, because it's an honor I don't think I deserve, but I couldn't be happier to accept.
Well, I think it was Sunday morning, and we were sitting down, or maybe it was that Saturday night game, and we were sitting there just on the outside of the dugout, and you were at bat, and you had a base hit, and I might have been Bowley or someone turned to me. He goes, how are we going to get him to play next year? How can we get him to play next year? I said, well, first thing, I had to get him a new number. I said 33's gone.
Yeah, can't wear that anymore.
Yeah. But you had yourself a good national too, boy.
Yes, man. Hit the shit out of it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it felt good to actually play well. I had a terrible ISC. It was difficult. And I think you talk to anyone that's going through that last year, you want it to be your best, and then when it's a struggle, it's just a compound feeling of pressure, kind of just like, fuck, do I still have it? And then back when we got back to the Nationals, it was a lot of relief. It was kind of out there, right, that it was going to happen, and then it was actually escape from the decision and from the reality that I'm not going to be playing ball anymore in a few days. So they say try and enjoy that experience, enjoy every minute. I can look back on that week and say that I did.
Take the listeners through that Sunday late. So here we are Sunday, and we have one game Sunday, championship Sunday, one game left of your ball career. You're staying at my house, and you wake up, come up over the stairs. Take the listeners through that day.
It was the most fucked up day ever, man. Like, from emotionally, because I couldn't sleep. So like when we were down in the bedroom, right, my room, mine and Jane's room, and I couldn't sleep. So I went out and slept on, or tried to sleep out on Weston and Myra's PJ Masks beds that they got out there for watching cartoons. So I was out there, man. I couldn't sleep. I was restless, and then I was up at 5 for the day. I was getting coffees, doing whatever, and it was weird. I knew, and I couldn't stop thinking, this is my last day playing ball. And I don't know how many times I said it to you, Hilly. I said,
well,
we got to fucking win. We got to fucking win. I was like, I don't know. I had OCD. I just couldn't stop saying, we got to win. We got to win. We got to win.
I just remember being around. What time was the championship game? 3:00, around there?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. So I remember eating a breakfast sandwich, like maybe around brunch time at the island. And I'm just there, Sunday, listening to the jigs and the reels, just staying calm, having a little coffee, breakfast sandwich on the TSN website of my computer. And this fucker's walking around the kitchen back and forth. He's pacing. He goes to the pantry for a snack. He don't want a snack. He goes to the fridge for a drink. He don't want a drink. He pours up a coffee. He don't want a coffee. And he's like, so it was around 11 or 12. I'm going to go for a little nap there now. So about an hour later, he's still fucking doing laps around the island. I said, listen, Stephen, I said, you are stressing me out. I said, I know what's going on here. I said, but you're going to go have a nap, or you're going to have to leave this kitchen. You're driving me nuts. Yeah. And I knew, like, you could just see, obviously, and it was a very emotional day, and he was like a hen on a hot rock all morning. But yeah, man. And then that drive
driving down, like, it was our last, I don't know, it's weird. It might not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but the amount of times we've driven to a ball game together, and then we're driving down there to a championship game at home where it all started, just me and you in the truck. That's emotional. We got songs that we listen to all the time, and they're whole.
Well, I think we were going down to Gushu there, and "Will They Lie There Evermore" was on by the Irish Descendants, and I'm like, nope, not today. I think I put on "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele. I think I put her up on about 50 volume.
Yeah. So we're bawling out songs on the way down. We get to pull in, but boys, I tell you, like, when we got into the ball field and we were going into the Techniplex, I had to go over to the other side of the gym and just run sprints. I said, I got to get nervous. Like, I've been nervous before. Been in a lot of big games, so thankfully I could draw that experience. But I was like, okay, I got to get the nervous energy out. I got to run, do whatever. But first time in my life, I threw up before a game because I was that nervous. Wow. But it was fucked because in the Techniplex, the bathroom that we would use is attached to the umpire's room. And I was going in to throw up. I wasn't going in to think about throwing up. I was going in to throw up. On my way, it's coming. Right as the umpires that are about to do the game are having a meeting outside the door. I said, boys, have a good game. And sure enough, I goes in and hucking up with the guts. And it was, I didn't know what I was going to be like. I didn't know I'd be calm or numb or whatever, but I felt every bit of the nervousness, the pressure. But then as soon as we got onto the ball field, we got in the huddle, and I just remember walking around soaking it all in. And then when the game started, it was probably the calmest I ever was playing a championship game in my life. And it
was a tight ball game too, so it was like
yeah.
it wasn't like an easy going 7-0, 10-0 win. You know, it was 4-1 ball game.
Well, I thought we were going to play against Shailes and the Stompers, and now the thoughts that go through your head in this situation was it can go down. I said, I love Shailes like a brother, but if that prick beats, if we're playing him in the final, and they come out and they beat us, I'm going to kill him. Right? And then, because in my mind, no disrespect to Toronto, it's just knowing I just thought we were going to be playing you guys, and then they came out, Toronto Batman, and they put together a friggin' run. Man, and I didn't know, like, what do they have enough gas left in the tank? You know, I liked our odds of winning, but we knew we were in for a fight, and what a game, man. But when we got the final out, I've never to this day yelled in excitement as loud as I did. Like the amount of emotion and just pure joy. There's no tears, there's no whatever. It was just awesome. I was so friggin' happy. And from there on out, it was probably the happiest I've been in my life, was getting to celebrate that and soak it all in and know that, I really hope you guys get to, or anyone that I played with could get to go out that way, man. It is unreal.
And not too many people get to go out at home in front of the home crowd at the Nationals and still be as good and as dominant as you have been. That was pretty special to watch, man. I'm sure Hilly will say the same thing. It was
man. It's like, that's if it's going to happen, that's the way you want to do it, right? It's like calling your shot, I'm going to call game here now, and I'm happy with my career, proud of my career, going out with a gold medal in front of your friends and family, and playing with your buddies who you grew up playing the game with, who you learned the game with, and it was a storybook ending, really. If that's how you're going to go out, then
it was awesome, man. And anyone who's listened to our podcast for the previous 26 episodes, you hear some of these names from Newfoundland or from whoever that we talk about, and they're all there. Ward Goss was there. Colin Abbott was there. The Davises were there. All
Little John.
Glenn Littlejohn was there. All my family. The town that I come from is a huge softball town. It seemed like something you'd see in a Friday Night Lights movie. Like, town is shut down. Everybody's in watching the ball game, man. And it was awesome. Then we got to go to the beer tent afterwards. There were songs being sung. We got a bus to come pick us up, went down to George Street, got into a few down there. But aside from that, so yeah, I appreciate getting the opportunity to walk through that, because it was an unbelievably special experience for me. But that aside, Nationals over. If you're a ball player, or a Canadian ball player, any ball player in the world, to finish a tournament like that, when we went down to Kelly's Pub upstairs, it was a softball community meet and greet. It was like any softball player is welcome to come up, and everyone's around. The competition's over. It's all friendship and laughs at that point. And I can remember just looking around, and you see players from every team and from every generation of softball history all around, drinking beer, telling stories, celebrating another Newfoundland championship. Shailes, that was pretty cool.
That was unreal. That was a gong show up there. that was awesome. But I mean, always good having beers at the end of a tournament. But especially after you boys won, it was good to see the turnout and catch up with a lot of people that we haven't caught up with for a while. And no, it was an unreal time out there in Newfoundland. Always is.
Yeah, it was fun too. And you know, aside from talking about the tournament and stuff, just chatting with your buddies who are like, well, I call them my buddies on the mainland that I don't get to see a lot. But, you know, just chatting about their week and their, not so much the ball, just like, you know, did you get out to see some things? Did you have some nice meals? Did you have a good time type thing? You know, it was pretty cool, man. Like I said, it was a special national for many reasons. And like I said, last time for us probably playing in front of our friends and family at home. But yeah, it was certainly a nice send off for our boy over there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it was awesome. But it was a special nationals and also a special season for a bunch of people. I got a couple written down here that this season and also the nationals, Justin Schofield, Ty Sebastian, Quentin Bruce, Jordan Pomeroy, Jordan Noftel, Liam Shea, Ryan Marr. Like, these guys are some, Scove, Ty, Quentin, they've been around for a while. Jordan's putting a stamp on the game. But stellar years for them, really cementing for Scove and now Ty, their stature. Same with Quentin Bruce. These guys are some of the best in Canada. Jordan is one of the best up and coming. And then, Hilly, one of my favorite things about the team from Newfoundland is when we get to bring in some of the younger guys, get them experience on that team. And see a guy like Jay Noftel and Liam Shea and Ryan Marr, to watch those guys celebrate. That was another real special moment for me. But yeah, that's just a few. And if I missed any, I'm sorry. But those guys stand out to me as having an unbelievable year and special year.
And one last thing, I just want to throw out there, and there's a bit of a funny story behind it. Special thanks to Danny Williams again for supporting the Galway Hitmen and doing his thing. He's a dog for the game, and he just loves sports, Newfoundland sports in general. But quick note on Danny, like I text me and Danny text every now and then, just sometimes just foolishness or whatever. Anyway, I get a text from Danny yesterday, and it's a picture. he said I was that excited. I'm that excited about our gold medal. He said, I decided to jump out of a plane in, I think he was Portugal. I thought he said he was in. Anyway, the place don't matter. He said the picture of skydiving.
Jesus.
Right? And I mean, Danny's not a young man anymore, but he's jumping out of planes.
Wow.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh, man. It's what a fella to have around. He treats us like gold. And once before we end this out, I got a list of people I want to acknowledge. And is that the picture?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it.
Look at that.
That's insane.
Wonder he don't got the gold medal around his neck. It's supposed to knock him out going down 1,000 miles an hour towards the ground. But yeah, that put a wrap on a great nationals. It put a wrap on a career. For me, storybook ending. Yeah, you can't put it any other way than that. Now you guys have a pretty exciting couple of months that you're staring down the barrel of here. So I want to transition into talking a little bit about the WBSC coming up. Hilly, we've talked a bunch about it on here with your prep, where the Canadian national team is. But so I'll come back to you in a second now that the roster is finalized and whatnot. But Shailesy, give us the Australian perspective and your personal perspective going into this, you being living in Ontario, going back to gel with that team. Where are you at now, and what are your thoughts on the team and your chances down in New Zealand?
Just been practicing a little bit since Nationals been done, but I head off back to Australia here in 2 weeks' time, and looking forward to it. We're going to win it. That's the plan. We've got the pitching staff. We've got the hitters. We've got a really young team, which is good. It's we got a few unknowns that I think everyone's sort of asking about and wondering whether it's such a big deal or not. But I haven't seen Jack Besgrove pitch yet, but looking forward to it. I've heard really good things, and I heard the young kid throws absolute bullets. So
Is he the
we're
lefty?
He's probably going to hit
What's that?
Hilly. Hilly, you're
Is he-
probably going to.
Oh,
He's probably going to
oh,
hit you.
fuck! If anyone's getting hit, I'm sure shit in the cat is going to be me.
nah, you're fine. He's a lefty.
Yeah.
You
So
probably
am I.
get Brad. But no, we're going over to win it. We start our camp here. What is it? Just after the Skins tournament, and I think it's around the 10th of November. So we'll go over to the Institute of Sport and then head over. I think you guys are playing in the Palmerston North tournament as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's top 8 teams. I think it is
Six, I think.
6. Is it?
I think.
And so that's going to be unreal. That's going to be a tough tournament to win. But you'll get to be able to see a bunch of different national teams, especially Japan's the unknown. Nobody sees Japan during the year, and they always come with a really tough team.
Mhm.
Argentina's going to be fucking really tough to beat, especially coming off the last Worlds. But no, we feel like we've got the team to do it, and I think we can give it a good run. Our pool's pretty tough, though.
Yeah. Us, you guys, Japan.
Japan, Venezuela, Denmark, and South Africa. So it's a tough one to get out of, but I think it's top 3 move on, right? And then it's the same as Pan Am's.
Yeah, that's what they did. They do a super round
Super
after.
round, right?
I much preferred it that way than the way it was in Prague.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the hard thing about Prague was as soon as you lost one game, it just relegated you down to the next level. So you had no chance of coming back from it, which was
Yeah.
tough. But
Yeah.
no, we're really looking forward to it. I think pretty much everyone now team's amping up to definitely medal, but hopefully bring that gold one home.
So it's in Christchurch this year, is it?
No, Auckland.
Or it's in Auckland. That'll tell you how. Yeah, I'm checked out, boys. Now, right?
You're checked
I'm
out.
retired.
Yeah. You don't need to know where the fuck it is.
Yeah. So it's in Auckland. It's a pretty cool place to play ball,
Okay.
and yeah, just goes to show, man, the opportunities playing this game. Jace, you're from friggin' Portugal Cove, man. I'm from Freshwater. What are we at? Going across the world to represent your country and play ball. It just speaks to the opportunities. I get to look at it from a different lens now. That I'm really excited to take it in as a fan, a Canada alumni. Still, all my best friends in the world are over there playing. So it's crazy to think how close it is, though. We've been talking about this, what seems to be for years now, and we're weeks away from it. And it's awesome, man. I'm going to be cheering for Team Canada, but when you're not playing Canada, Shailes, you know that I'll be cheering for you. Yeah, before we move on, Hilly, though, the national team roster was finalized after the Nationals in Newfoundland. How you feeling about the team?
Feeling really good. I mean, like most of the teams, there's no easy games anymore, but I do feel like we got the pitching, I feel like we got the hitting, and I feel like we got the defense. So it's just a matter of putting it all together. We do have some new faces, some younger guys, and some guys who got rewarded for really good seasons. Quentin Bruce, Justin Schofield, Justin Laskowski's back, after he's a Pan Am debut. Corey Jones is back. And you got the core, Ryan and Bradley and Shane and Sean. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think we are playing in that Palmerston tournament. So we leave here November 15th, and I think we play that tournament. We stay a couple extra days for training and then fly right to Auckland. But yeah, that tournament is going to be, I think everybody's going to play different positions. Everyone's going to play every day. I believe it's 2 games a day. You're probably going to see some guys pitching that probably aren't going to be pitching in the tournament. It's just going to be a good opportunity for the coaching staff to kind of put their stamp on whatever their vision is for the lineup, I want to say, because, like any national team, you're going to have, it's a team full of number 3 and 4 hitters, really. for the most part. But you're going to have, in my eyes, you have your roster, and you have your starters, and then you have your role guys you got your guys coming in off the bench to play defense. You got your guys coming off the bench late in the game to swing the bat. You got your guys coming in the pinch run or whatever it is, and then you figure out your pitching staff. We're going to go with this guy. This guy's going to be our closer, or whatever it is. Paul Mission's going to give those guys a real good look at what they got there. Like you said, 6 of the top teams, 2 games a day, I think it is.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Which is, if you talk about rust and like being November for us, well, we're pretty lucky. Like I just got done playing Sunday. Today is Wednesday. So we're fortunate that way. We played here late, played a lot after nationals, but for some guys who probably haven't played a whole lot, then you're gonna jump right back into the fire. You're gonna get sore. You're gonna get the rust off real quick, and you're gonna get prepared as best you can for Auckland.
That's wicked, man. And I can't wait to watch it. But Shailes, it's awesome getting you back on. This is basically, we do this a couple of nights a week, either on Zoom or FaceTime anyway. But it's cool to get on and not really have it be a traditional episode like the previous ones that we've had, where we're walking through a career. This was meant to really be just 3 of us sitting around chatting ball, reflecting on the season. But the last time you were here, a little over a year ago, we were talking a little bit about the HRD backhoe and how cool it was that you and Trevor and Brian Porter got involved making these pro stock, unbelievably cool bats. Can you update our listeners on what's developed with HRD backhoe over the last 14 months or so?
Yeah, for sure, mate. Well, first off, it's always good getting on and talking shit with you boys. Always a bit of fun. But HRD's going really crazy. We're doing a lot of minor league work, but also a lot of private label work as well. So a lot of bigger companies are asking us to make some of their bats, which is huge for the HRD brand. Can't let you know who it is, but I could say we're moving a lot of bats right now, and the warehouse is expanding pretty quickly. So we're enjoying our time, but everything's about to explode here in the next month or so with a lot of work. Luckily, I'll be in Australia and playing in New Zealand, so I'll be able to avoid a little bit of it. But no, it's far exceeded any one of our expectations already, and we only started it 2 years ago. So it's growing really quickly, and we can't wait to see what the future brings.
Hilly, I get to go down and see the warehouse. I've been down there a bunch of times, and you just see the growth of the company based on, there's now 4 or 5 pallets of wood in there. There's 2 more lathes that they got shipped over from China, and you get the staff is growing out there, and it's a pretty slick operation. We walk into a store, we haul a bat out of our bag. You don't really think what's involved in designing it, manufacturing it, painting it, customizing it. It is a frigging, it's an unreal operation, Shailes, and you got to check it out, Hilly, when you're up the next time, man. It is unreal. And just seeing some of the videos on social media, it's you're gonna be blown away by it, man.
Why is it going after our heart?
Right, like this. What are we gonna do for the months that you're down, or when you're down there? When I don't get to get these one line zingers from old Hilly.
Classic Hilly.
Yeah, but that's awesome, man. Like you said, you guys are primed to explode here over the next little bit. Can't wait to see everything that's come. So, but getting you on again has been awesome, and is a cool episode. I like this format, Hilly, just getting on with our buddies and chatting. I'm looking forward to doing that again with Shailesy as we move forward, and maybe getting just some guys on here, not interview style, just chatting through things.
It's a great way to do it, man. It's a lot more easier listening for the viewers too. So, but
that was good.
No, it's always fun.
We had some catch up to do, some cleanup work, some housekeeping in the summer, wrap up the summer.
Yeah, it's just great to be back on here recording new episodes. And as I said earlier, I do want to take the time here to acknowledge some people and say some thank yous now that the career is over, looking back on it. I want to start with my mom and dad, who've been in my corner from day one. They got me involved in the game. We're at my first game all the way to my last game down in Newfoundland. Their support means the world to me, and I've been so lucky to have them since day one. My sisters, Erin and Vicky, for all their support along the way. Jane and Teddy, having Jane and Teddy down for the final game down in Newfoundland, Hilly, and then having our kids run out with our gold medals. That's one of the most special memories I've had in this game, and I'll remember it forever. But all the support that Jane has given me over the years. This is a team sport, but it's often very selfish when we're going out trying to chase these dreams and leaving our families behind. So everything she's done to support that dream of mine, I can't thank her enough. You guys, Hilly, Shalesy, and Bradley as well. Talked about it earlier. For me, that's the core four that go back for me, and we've been through so much together, so many great experiences, and to have you guys down on the field for the ceremony for my last game is something very special. I want to thank Rob and Beck O'Brien for everything they've done for me, taking me into their home in 2006. They become two of my best friends in the world, and I don't think I'd be here today reflecting on the career I had if it wasn't for the two of them. Sean O'Brien, Colin Abbott, and Ward Goss for paving the way, trailblazers, and showing us how it's done on the ISC and having my back. I can't say enough about those guys. John Hill, anyone who's listened to our episodes probably knows what John Hill means to me, but he's the best coach I've ever played for. I think he's the best coach probably in the history of the sport when you look what he's done and you look the dedication. But what he's done for me personally, who has a coach from the age 16 to age 39? I'm incredibly fortunate, and to get the experiences we've had something I'll be forever grateful for. Hilly, your mom, Bride, for everything she did, taking me into the house, making me feel a part of the family. That's when mine and your friendship really started to kick off, and thank her so much. John Stewart, one of my favorite coaches, having him down in Newfoundland for that coming out. He's just a legend and one of my best friends. I want to thank Softball Canada, Softball Newfoundland for all the support and opportunities over the years. I want to thank the sponsors I've been privileged enough to play for. Pete Hill, the entire Hill family, Brian Porter, Danny Williams, Junior Bruce, Denny Bruckert, Jim Hallman, Craig Watermelon, Tom Stasic, Bob Neidick, and Mark Hastings and Mike Van Dyne for taking a shot on me when I was 19 years old over the internet from Newfoundland, getting me to go down to Ashland, Ohio, and give me a crack in the ISC. I don't know if you guys truly know what that means to me, and I'll be forever grateful. I want to thank my heroes in the game for never letting me down and helping me along the way. I've mentioned a couple, but you got Ryan Wolf, Todd Martin, Rob Gray, Dean Holine, and a whole host of others. The example that you guys have set is second to none. I do want to acknowledge and thank Mark Dwyer, Sean Cadigan, Brian Roach, and Softball Newfoundland, and Hilly for your involvement in that great honor while we're at the Nationals. It's something that I'll never forget, and it's so special. Thank you. My friends and family from my hometown and back in Newfoundland for understanding that I was going to be away a lot in the summertime chasing this dream and miss a lot of special moments, and thanks for your understanding and support. All the training staff, team support staff, and umpires, we can't do this without you. And then the coaches I've had all the way back from my minor ball in freshwater to playing provincially and internationally on the ISC and with Team Canada. I think I'm the luckiest ball player ever to have played with the coaches I've had the opportunity to. My teammates and opponents, I've played with and against the best for the last 20 years. And I want to thank those guys for making those 20 years the most unbelievable experience. It's awesome. And I've been thinking a lot about this over the last little while. I hope my son Teddy finds something that he loves to do as much as I love playing softball. And more importantly, I hope he finds his version of Hilly and Shailesy that he meets along the way to share the journey with, because it even goes further than the game itself. I want to thank you guys for letting me do this on here, and for our listeners for sitting through it. We got Lucas and Nick here. A little bit of Rum Ragged to take us out.
Get out of here! I told you, Mr. Drama.
I used to be a ladies' man, but I'm a man now. For courting 6 girls all at once, they used me.
Say bye-bye baseball!
My mother said it was naughty, I should kiss her goodbye. But I said if it's naughty, sure it's also very nice.
And the lollipops is great, Pops Dalton. The benches are clearing.